Story 1. People may be ruder to you. In general, it makes everything a little harder than if you were good looking. Story 2. You can't relate to any story about people being attracted to you. It's as if you are invisible to most people. When you do get their attention, their eyes don't light up as they do when they see others. Story 3. Instead of calling me handsome, my grandmother would have a glass of wine, tell me I look funny, and laugh about it. Story 4. In my experience working at a summer camp, the children will point out all your flaws, even the ones you are not yet aware of. Story 5. Once, a man catcalled me, and when I turned around, he actually said, "Oh, sorry. That's how I know I'm unappealing and quite repulsive." Story 6. The other day at work, all the older women discovered that the new employee was single. They began naming everyone they thought was attractive and single. They named almost everyone who worked there except me. I already knew, but it was a harsh reminder that I need to work on myself. Story 7. I'm bald and look like an alien. I've literally been told that before, and I agree. I used to wear a hat and looked acceptable until one time a girl I was talking to asked me to remove it. She gasped and put a hand over her mouth. That was about the last of my self-esteem. I appreciate the love and support. A few things. I can't really grow facial hair. I've long since accepted my baldness. I don't believe I look good, but I don't care what anyone thinks of me anymore. Thank you again. You all are too nice. Story 8. I'm not a beautiful man. I'm not handsome. I kind of look like a Russian henchman from a low-budget action movie, but not the cool henchman. I'm one of those who casually falls into an airplane engine or a wood chipper. There's no big fight scene with the hero. People have said so multiple times, and that's how I know. But you know what? There aren't that many people in my particular niche. Story 9. People perceive your friendliness as creepy. I'm not talking about flirting. I'm talking about being nice. Story 10. People always ask you to take the group picture. This is an internal joke we share among my close friends whenever any of us takes a picture. Deliberately doing this to anyone is a cruel act from a similarly cruel person. Jokes can be used as verbal aggression to psychologically harm someone. To those who have suffered this, you do not deserve it. I'm sorry you have been hurt in this way. The individuals who did this to you are the problem. Story 11. No one goes out of their way to take an interest in you, not just romantically. Advice is often given to initiate if you want to socialize more. There is an uneven distribution of who needs to do the initiating, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out how that happens. Story 12. The best way to determine your attractiveness is to post about your looks on a social media platform. If the comments are filled with negativity or dismissive remarks, then you are likely good-looking. On the other hand, if you receive comments like, "Everyone is beautiful," "You seem like such a sweet person," or other kind words, it may suggest that you are not as attractive. Another indicator is being an active user on Reddit. Story 13. When even your photographer friends can't make you look good in photographs, which is literally their job to find a good angle for every face in the world. The look on their faces when they are sorry for bad photographs. Story 14. This thread is why I could never post on the Roast Me subreddit. I don't want to know how unattractive I am. Let me enjoy my blissful ignorance. Story 15. They only talk to you when necessary or for practical reasons to get something in return. People can be unforgiving and impatient. It may be due to unpleasantness or simply because they do not want to spend time with you. Story 16. People are giving you dirty looks, not smiling at you, and being ruder to you than they are to others. Story 17. When you make friends, you are not the one being approached. You have to go out of your way to approach others to build friendships. Story 18. Every day, women are expressing their frustrations online about being asked out and catcalled frequently, which is quite annoying. I'm just here thinking, yes, it really is. Story 19. As a woman, I often feel ignored. I don't have a group of admirers as many believe all women do. I don't get out of tickets or receive free drinks. I rarely get approached except by those men who tend to hit on everyone. That's all I can think of at the moment. Story 20. The only thing you get compliments on is your hair. The only one I ever receive is, your hair is so long, which isn't even a compliment as much as it is an observation. Story 21. If you are attractive and outspoken, expressing yourself clearly and regularly, you are seen as confident and driven. This could help you secure a job or promotion. Conversely, if you are perceived as unattractive and outspoken, you may be labeled as annoying or unpleasant, which could hinder your professional advancement. I have observed this scenario occur multiple times in my workplace, particularly involving women. Story 22. Observe how people test conventionally unattractive individuals versus average or conventionally attractive individuals, and compare that to how they treat you. Story 23. Nobody asks if you are bringing a date or +1 to any event. Nobody inquires about your marital status or if you have children, as they already know the answers. In fact, your love life and marital status are all implied. One time, an HR representative for a new job assumed my single and unmarried status without any hesitation. If I had more self-esteem, I would have called them out for being presumptuous, but I needed the job. On the flip side, if you are attractive but appear single, people have questions and concerns all day long. Story 24. When I was in high school, I was the quiet kid who never talked to anyone. I knew I was unattractive whenever people called me a school shooter instead of dark and mysterious. This is mostly a joke about conventionally attractive people being treated better than others. It did happen to me, but it doesn't bother me. Story 25. When people give backhanded compliments like, "You're so brave for wearing that," or "I love your confidence," I think it feels like being ignored. I don't consider myself unattractive, but I was conventionally pretty when I was younger. Now that I am older and way more, I put less effort into my appearance. It is honestly peaceful compared to when I was young and attractive. Story 26. I'm a twin, non-identical. My sister received a handwritten card that said, "To my beautiful daughter," while mine said, "To my awesome daughter." Paraphrasing, but both were beautiful and awesome. The genes were not kind to me. Stop reminding me, family. They're all great and meant no harm, but... Story 27. They never take photos of you or with you and post them in their My Day/story, but they constantly do it with their other friends. Story 28. Your mom still calls you handsome, and you're in your 30s. She's the only one who uses that name for you. Story 29. You are the only one not receiving compliments in the group. If you do receive them, it is always for your skills, personality, or clothes. Story 30. A friend's girlfriend took a candid picture of me and showed it to me. I said, "Wow, I look good." And she shrugged and replied, "Anything looks good in black and white." I had a guy tell me I was attractive, but only in the dark. That was a hard hit. I have received comments like, "Does your boyfriend actually like this?" Gestures. It must be hard being the one in the group. What do you mean? You know they say all girlfriend groups have the one that makes the others look good. Damn, I think I need to go cry now. Story 31. I was in a sorority and we participated in an activity where everyone wrote their name on an index card and passed it to the next person. You would write one word or phrase to describe them and keep passing it until they made it back around. It was disheartening to see all of the cards coming back full of words like beautiful and gorgeous, while receiving my own back with descriptions like funny, a good friend, and smart. We did this with about 100 people, so not having a single one of them write even a pity beautiful felt pretty rough after seeing most cards filled with praise about attractiveness. Another difficult game involved everyone standing in a circle with their eyes closed while a couple of people wandered outside the circle and rotated. There would be prompts like, pat someone on the back that you look up to, and I received no pats the entire game. It was tough. It's not that I had no friends, but that experience was painful. Avoid team-building activities like this. Story 32. Honestly, it is as rare to be truly unattractive as it is to be exceptionally beautiful. In my whole life, I have only met a handful of people I would consider unattractive or beautiful. Everyone else is either below or above average. Story 33. When you ask if you are attractive and someone says, "You have a nice figure," When someone tells you that you have a beautiful personality. Actually, when I started dating someone and they said, they must like you for what's inside, I wanted to say, oh, I have an ugly personality. Story 34. I have severely pockmarked and indented scars on my cheeks, so the skin deformation does not help. I also have a large nose, a weak chin, and an asymmetrical face. I feel like a lost cause. Story 35. You're easily forgettable and often ignored. I've been introduced to the same friends of friends several times. They never remember my name and ask me the same questions. What do you do? What are your hobbies? I started using different names and inventing outrageous hobbies. I've been a burlesque dancer, a roadkill taxidermist, and a vegan butcher, to name a few. No one ever remembers. Story 36. People will flirt with your partner whether or not you are around. It is rare to see a couple where the man is more attractive than the woman. Story 37. I have a friend who I think is cute, but she has frizzy hair and problematic skin. Strangers often try to give her advice on how to improve both. I was shocked when she told me this, but even more so when we were waiting in line for coffee one day and a woman behind us tapped her shoulder and suggested she use conditioner for her hair and see a dermatologist. I was taken aback by how rude that was. I have seen this happen a few times. Poor girl. She said it has happened her whole life. Story 38. People often find excuses to blame others for issues or label them as suspicious. For example, some may be followed by loss prevention agents in malls. There is a general lack of trust towards certain individuals, especially around children. Service personnel like waitstaff and shop clerks may ignore them. In the event of a misfortunate incident, such as a fall, bystanders tend to look away. Opportunities are scarce, and one often has to work twice as hard to gain recognition. One of the most unfortunate outcomes for previously attractive individuals is the perception of becoming unattractive. Attractiveness can be subjective. For instance, some women may be seen as less appealing simply due to aging. Many who were pretty and popular until their 20s often feel that others have become unfriendly or unkind. The reality is that the same individuals were present all along. They simply stopped giving attention as they did when one resembled a youthful starlet. It is undoubtedly unfair, but the world has always operated this way for many. It's just that you may not have had to confront this reality until more recently. Story 39. When you're walking down the street feeling great and suddenly see an unattractive reflection in a random mirror, you realize it's you. Story 40. You do not receive things for free, nor can you manipulate a situation for your benefit. Story 41. All I know is that after reading this thread, I will make it a point to compliment others around me more. Story 42. A person told me he likes me but doesn't want to be seen dating someone like me when he believes he should be with someone more attractive. Story 43. As a woman who grew up feeling unattractive and then transformed as an adult by losing weight and improving my makeup skills, it's clear how differently people treat you. People are significantly kinder to those they perceive as attractive. Men, in particular, are much friendlier to me now. Additionally, my unique interests are viewed as intriguing rather than being labeled as odd. I've noticed that I am judged less for my quirks because people find me attractive, leading them to see me as interesting and cool instead. Story 44. I was 40 before someone taught me about the concept of being ugly yet attractive. Another lesson. I didn't notice the beauty of my stunning friends until they became close to me. Now, when someone comments, "Your friend is really good looking," I find myself thinking, "Oh yes, they are. I had forgotten." Story 45. My wife is the only person who has ever complimented, flirted with, or shown interest in me, and she has terrible eyesight. Story 46. I don't understand how some parents can call their kids ugly. What do you think? Whose fault is that? Story 47. I started hanging out with a group of younger, good-looking guys, all of whom were gay like me. I always believed in the saying, "You're as attractive as your friends." And these guys were easily 7s and 8s out of 10. I had been through some rough times but was finally employed again, had gained some weight back after losing it unhealthily, and thought, cool, I must be looking better if these guys want to hang out with me. It took me about 6 weeks of Sunday brunches to discover there was a no dating app rule. I assumed everyone was using it, but then someone else's phone was left on, and that unmistakable notification sound went off. It started a conversation, and they began explaining to me, the new guy, why they had this rule. One by one, they turned their apps on. I was taken aback. My dating app had been on during every brunch. In 6 weeks, with 2-hour brunches and similar hangouts, I might have gotten one hit. These 4 or 5 guys turned their apps on, and the waiter had been sending them messages. I had sent about 10 greetings without a single response during brunch. Within 5 minutes of them turning their apps on, they had 10 message notifications among the 5 of them. Apparently, they thought I was funny once for my jaded worldview, and they assumed I was wealthy. About 6 weeks later, I realized they saw me as their pity friend, the one they bring around because they feel bad for him. I was shattered. They were getting messages and offers from every single profile within a mile. I must have been one of the guys they made fun of before they knew me. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.